How y'all doing? Happy Saturday night and happy Valentine's Day, you lovebirds. Oh gosh. Anyway, that was macho. Yeah, I'm known for that. Yeah. What's up? Anyway, okay. We are on season 1, episode 13 of Scrolling with Charlie. Probably soon to be scrolling with anybody else other than Charlie because of the popularity I'm not getting. I'm just kidding. Thought I had some love here. We're going to jump right into the whatchamacallit, the Hoosier West. You've watched this before. It's called The Roll Call. All right. I don't know why I'm being so weird, but it's probably because I'm awake. Now, okay, Mark Stallings is already starting in with me, but y'all can't see that on the screen. We're going to start with John Cousins out of, God, I can never remember where, somewhere in Canada. Tell everybody where you're from and what you do and blah, blah, blah.
How's it going? My name's John P.A. Cousins. I'm from Grand Prairie, Alberta, as it says up top there. Working on a scroll saw 2-3 years now. Spirals are first choice to go with anyway. You can contact me at my page or on my email or on my Facebook as well. Anything else, Charles?
That should be it for now, but just so you know, it's slightly pixelated, so that's why I couldn't read it, just saying. But I did remember you're in Canada, so I got a little bit of grace there.
All right.
Thank you, John. And to the other John, John Schaffner, we call him Santa. He's in New York, and it's probably pretty bloody cold there. But tell everybody all about you, where they can find you.
Yes, I'm shaking in my boots here. We're getting snow like crazy, and supposed to get about 6 inches overnight. Temperatures down around 17 below zero. 2 above for the high tomorrow. So, yep, it's going to continue for a bit. Anyway, Central New York, right outside of Syracuse, a little place called Canastota, New York, home of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Been scrolling for around 30 years or so. Got my big Diwali here about 10 years ago, and I love that little baby. So, Facebook, under my name, John Schaffner, that's about it.
And that's spelled, thank you, John, that's spelled S-H-A-F-F-N-E-R. If you're looking him up, that's John Schaffner. I've often said whenever the video posts to the internet or to YouTube, ask people to put their information in the description, but we all often forget, so hopefully we can all get in the habit of doing that. Going down the line, we have Mr., I don't even know if he's there, Mark Sherman. Okay.
Hi, my name is Mark Sherman. Live in Bellevue, Nebraska. Been scrolling on and off for the past 20 years, mostly back on now. You can find me on my Facebook page, Mark Sherman, or my scroll saw page at Sherman Scrollworks, also on Facebook, and I need to put that up here. That's it.
Good deal. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, your little stuff above your head isn't there, is what threw everybody off. They're wondering what's going on. And the sweetest man on the panel, Mark Stallings, and I can never remember where he lives because I always try to forget about him.
Hi, my name is Mark Stallings. I live in Springfield, Missouri. You know, they're calling for some of that nasty white stuff to hear this week too. So I'm ready to sit back to New York to John. But I can be found at Facebook at Mark Stallings. I can be found on YouTube at Spiritual Splinters Woodshop. And I can also be found on my Facebook page of Spiritual Splinters Woodshop.
Alrighty then. So everything's Spiritual Splinters, and he lives in Missouri. By God. Mr. Rick Hutcherson, all of his information's up top, but I'm going to let him say it anyway because I like his voice. Mr. Rick Hutcherson, tell everybody about you.
Yep, I'm from Iowa, Grimes, Iowa. Got a website, scrollsaws.com, Facebook, Rick Hutcherson, and YouTube, Rick Hutcherson. Been scrolling for quite a while.
Quite a while. He also does a lot of other versions of woodworking. Most often turning. He's very good at it. We have a newcomer to the group, and I saw this guy on Facebook, and I had to have him on the show. 15 years old, scrolls like a master. He is Rakesh Mystery out of Sticksville, Ontario, Canada. Tell everybody about yourself and how they can find you.
Alright, so I have a website, which I'll add in the description, but I've been scrolling for 3 years now. I started in school, and now I bought my DeWalt a few years back. And yeah, so I've just been scrolling along. I have a YouTube channel too, Ricky Scrollsaw. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay, for what it's worth, I went and looked at you call it Ricky Scrollsaw, but I believe your username is Ricky Awesome, correct?
Oh, I made that a few years ago, yeah.
Okay. Okay. For those that don't know, it's Ricky R-I-C-K-Y. Awesome is his username. And the reason why I'll get to that in a second. Let's go on with the roll call. Let's go ahead and start with our co-host, Russ Clarity out of Florida.
Hi, I'm Russ. I've been scrolling for about 30 years. You can reach me at Simply Wooden Creations on YouTube, Simply Wooden Creations on Facebook, and I have a website, simplywoodencreations.com.
Good deal. Next we have Scott Sanders out of, don't tell me I knew this earlier, Oklahoma. Good deal.
That's right. My name's Scott Sanders, Griet, Oklahoma. Been scrolling for about 11 years. You can find me on Facebook and YouTube under my name, Scott Sanders.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I'm coughing. I'm Charles Deering. Where am I? I'm in Gatesville, Texas, about halfway between Dallas and Austin, 2 hours either way, with a very dirty cap I'm seeing. Anyway, that's shop dust by there. Anyway, YouTube is Charles Deering Scroll. Facebook is a bunch of crap, but my personal profile is the Charles Deering. So I'll post all the other crap in the description or the comments below. I don't know. Not real sure who I am half the time. And we finally got our first Q&A section. Okay, that's a link posted by Dan Ingebretson. I'm afraid to click on it because I don't know what it is. If you don't mind telling us, Dan, because I don't want to be distracted off the show. Most of the panel would like it if that happened. But anyway, we're going to jump. We started talking about today's going to be a show and tell, basically, because I've always said, I don't know if I've said it on the air or not, but if I haven't, even though the show is named Scrolling with Charlie and we got Russ Clarity, me and Russ do not own the topics and own and the tutorials and all that. So everybody on the panel I wanted to include, give everybody an opportunity to show their work in person, like holding it up, and show their website. Why is the color on my camera keep changing? Anyway, oh, because of my bright white hand, probably. Anyway, I wanted everybody to show their websites and their YouTube channels, or at least talk about their YouTube channels. And so rather than me talk and continue to jump over my tongue, we're going to start with John Cousins. And I'm probably going to forget to stop presenting each time, so I'm probably going to have to be reminded. But John, if you don't mind, unmute yourself, share your screen, and I'll present you to everybody. And if you have a website, show people that, or if you have pictures of your work or anything you want to hold up, just go for it.
Wow.
You weren't prepared, huh?
No, I wasn't. I've been up at 3:30 this morning. I was actually going to catch your morning show, but my laptop was downstairs, and I had a chance to get that. But yeah, I've been up since 3:30 this morning with sick, I don't know, flu, allergies, or something. But I did grab some. I do have some stuff here that I could show you. Like basically, I'm starting to get into these 3D birds.
Ah. Very nice.
And stands for them.
That's very nice. Where are you getting these designs from?
A couple. Most of my patterns are older patterns from Scrollsaw books that I got from a friend at work whose father passed away, and I got probably 100 copies of old Scrollsaw magazines, and I'm probably going to get another 500 more copies of new patterns. Some stuff I just do by eyeballing, like I'll have an idea in my head of something I want to do, and then I just sort of incorporate other patterns into it. Like this one, I made the snow globe a couple years ago.
Cool.
And basically what it is I got this pattern from Sheila Landry.
Okay, of Sheila Landry Designs, okay.
Yeah, for the base. I found this light globe at the hardware store, and then I cut these other snowflakes.
How did you get those in there?
Silicone.
Oh. Well.
And then I had an LED light that goes in the base that goes on top, so it's just like that.
That's plumb cool.
Some of the other stuff I get a lot of requests for. Carrie, can you come here a sec? I get a lot of requests for scrapbooks, scrapbook covers, photo albums as well. And I'll show those to you in a sec here. Pass the football over too. So I do these photo albums. Do the front and the back, and then just throw pages inside of them.
That's a very creative idea. I know others have done it, but it's nice to see somebody incorporating that.
And then I have my boss is his wife's a big football fan, and he asked me to build him a 3D football. So I designed this.
Oh, cool.
And then I actually put the team logo on it, and then he sent it down to the team, had them sign it, and then I resealed it after that to seal all the autographs onto it.
Awesome. Mark Sherman, not Sherman. Mark Stallings wanted to know how you pin the Mark, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask what you were going to ask. I don't remember how you worded it.
How do you pin the pages on your photo albums?
Oh, if you go down to Michael's, Michael's or Hobby Lobby or wherever, and get these scrapbook rivets.
Oh. Well, that makes sense. Good deal.
Right, and that way, they normally come in 1 inch, and then you can buy at the actual spacers for them as well to make them as thick as you want. And then brass hinges on the back, fancy brass hinges on the front. That way, your book will lay flat when it's on a table.
That's awesome. I'm gonna get with you in behind the scenes and talk about that after a while. I noticed do you have anything else to show? If not, I noticed we had some else come in. I need to give an opportunity to introduce myself.
Yeah, one more thing is I started getting into building, making copies of old wooden keys.
Okay. Cool. Now you gotta build some wooden locks.
Yeah.
And hope the key doesn't break off in it.
That's what
the newcomer just left, but I thank you very much for that, John. And I'm not going to forget to stop presenting. Yay! Like the morning show where I screwed everything up. And Dan Ingerbretson, I do see your link and everything, but I'm going to wait, if you don't mind, and wait and put that in the comment section of the video once it's been loaded, since that's not on the topic of what we're doing today. I appreciate what you're doing. It's a link to help with a blade adapter on a Harbor Freight scroll saw, but anybody interested in that, look in the description or the comment section of the video once it's been put on the air. Thank you for that, Dan Ingerbretson. Okay, John Schaffner, do you have any show and tell items, or do you just want me to leave you alone?
No, actually I do. Last minute gift for my honey for Valentine's Day. I've been working on a lot of these signs, word plaques, word within a word. Don't have a backer on it. It's gonna go on right flat to the wall, but it says "Together is my favorite place to be," and another Sheila Landry design. And it came out pretty darn good. It's out of oak, 3/8 oak. Other than that, I got nothing.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for that. Just for what it's worth, to give credit where credit is due, technically that's a Keith Benton design, but it's sold through Sheila Landry Designs website. Mark Sherman said he's having camera issues, so he said not to go to him. So Mark Stallings, you're on the ball, and you're being presented to everybody, so be nice.
All right. Well, like I said, you can find me on Spiritual Splinters. I don't have anything in here handy, so I will see if I can take you over here and screen share. Let's go on an acid trip.
Yep.
Can you see my?
Absolutely.
There?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. This is my Facebook page here. The sign here, that was my first attempt at a sign, so it didn't turn out too bad, and John Cousins kind of gave me some hints on it for my future. I've got more pictures down here. This is something my wife and I did out of some of the free wood that I get. It's Baltic birch, and we decided we were going to try to do what they took out with the CNC machine and make something out of it. And that's what we ended up with. I think 5 foot by 5 foot. I cut some crosses. That's a Steve Good pattern that I've done several times.
Very nice.
I did that there for my son. He's a fireman here in a little outlying town of Springfield. I did that one for him. I did that as a Christmas present.
Very cute.
Another Christmas present. My wife wanted to know if I did that one there on purpose, getting the grain run that way, and I said, of course I did.
Absolutely, dear.
Yeah. Did that one for my daughter for Christmas.
And your wife helps do the painting, correct?
My wife does all the painting because I could be painting here in my house and get it on your wall, Charlie.
That's funny right there.
This pattern here I actually found, I Googled a butterfly, and that's out of 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood.
Good deal.
There was a nameplate that I made.
Very nice.
That's another one. That one there didn't come out very bright, but I made that one for my son's nurse. This here is I designed this pattern, but I've seen similar. But I put their maiden name in here, and then their married date up here, or their married name up here, and then their date of marriage here. And that's actually cut out separate and glued on top of it, so it kind of stands out a little better. That's pantry that I built. That one there was a coloring book page that it wasn't looking right, so I took the pattern off and just freehanded it from there. This here was actually a cake topper that I got off of Google.
Cool.
That was the biggest pain in the rear end I've ever done in my life. I'm trying to get everything there. But what I do with those there, I come off the wheels or somewhere on the bottom of it, and I put craft chain in it with eye hooks and make this into wall hangers for kids for Christmas.
Good deal.
Did the same thing with that one. That one there was my first attempt at trying to put something on the line on the outside. The customer liked it, but I should have really brought this aid all the way down here. There it is with the craft chain. A shadow box that I made for a kid. There's one of my custom crosses. That's my own design there. And that was the very first cross that I had cut out. There's a few other things that I did. This here is also a Steve Good pattern. That's cut out of 3/4 inch Baltic birch. That was when I first got the scroll saw. There's the very first thing I ever cut out of it was my son's name.
That's pretty darn good for a first time.
That was the very first thing. That's cut out of 1/2 inch pine or 3/4 inch pine.
And that was with your Harbor Freight scroll saw, correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And I believe Mark Sherman has his camera working now. So, Mark, would you like me to still skip you, or you want to stick around?
Yeah, that's cool. One thing I took care of, I believe it was yesterday, in honor of Valentine's. This is for a friend of mine, so showed this morning.
Very
Do
good.
you want me to show my Facebook page, or?
Yeah, anything you want to show that shows your work, or?
Alrighty, let's see here. Let's do a screen share. Alrighty, first thing, today I did some 2-view compound cuts. So I did a pelican and a dolphin. So this is courtesy Rick Hutcherson. Thanks, Rick, for the patterns. Took out to the garage already, but last week I took care of this Yoda. Use a spiral you must, afraid you must not be. So that was probably my second big project with spiral blades.
Good deal.
Sitting out in the garage. It's about 16 by 20 is the size of this thing, so it's a nice size project.
I like it. I wish I had done it first.
That's probably my first spiral project. It's real small. It's only about 6 inches wide or so. Let's see. So I took care for my son. He's in the Air Force in Delaware, so he's been in for probably almost 3 years now. So getting ready to put on senior airman pretty soon. Let's see. One item I got an order from a craft show that I did. I had a nameplate done. You'll probably see it in a couple of pictures, but a local lady has a son-in-law that was started a photography business, so she wanted a name plaque for him. So did his name and the old school photographer. Some ornaments that I took care of. This is the Scrollers or Woodworkers Potpourri. Haven't tried selling that yet, but maybe we'll get a sell.
That's very nice.
My pride and joy right here is my 30-inch Excalibur. Happy with that.
Very nice.
Pretty soft.
Yeah.
More ornaments. Didn't do this with a spiral blade. This is all flat blades.
Wow.
And this is one of my small craft shows that I did at the lady's house. So I just had a small card table size area to put stuff on, a small tree.
I've never heard of a craft show at someone's house. That's a unique idea.
She sells has people in like Avon or 31 or items like that. So I guess every year she has a pretty decent house and able to open it up for a lot of people. So she can get a lot of people in. And I'm not sure how many years she's done it, but it's an annual thing right after. It's probably around November, right before Christmas. So hopefully I'll get invited back next year.
Alrighty.
This pattern here is courtesy Steve Good. I need to give him a donation for this thing because I've made a lot of money on this thing so far this year, because I probably made about, I don't know, 20 or so at least of these patterns, so they're pretty popular. 3D Christmas trees. And that's where the lady saw the Sherman Scrollworks pattern right there for my table art. So.
Alrighty.
Yep, and that's about it really.
Alrighty, I appreciate it, Mr. Mark Sherman, out of wherever you said you were from, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
And I haven't forgotten to start presenting yet. I like that. I'm on a roll. This morning I kept forgetting. We have Rick Hutcherson, and God, this man's got a lot of stuff, and his website is the Taj Mahal of websites, so we could be here a while. But Rick, show everybody your stuff and whatever you want to show off. You're muted, by the way, Rick. Rick, I don't know if you can hear me, but your webcam, you're muted.
There we go.
Is that a Santa and a sleigh?
The 9 reindeer and the sleigh on a little board.
Wow.
That's one of the bigger miniatures.
Bigger miniatures.
Yeah, that's the large size there almost. Okay, let's see. Where all am I at? Let me go over here to screen share. and then we can try to go through all these. Okay, come on, how come it's coming up with that? I gotta go to something. Okay, this is my Facebook page, and I pretty much just post every day the different turnings that I do on it. Pretty simple. Every once in a while I make other comments. Then I also have a YouTube page, and I go through with a lot of the little videos here on the different stuff I've done. If you want to see my shop, I have a complete shop tour video there. And then when you're there, don't forget to come up here and click the old channel. And this is the one I used to do, have them on. And Charlie talks about hits. 193,161 views on this natural lead tilted bowl.
Wow.
This is done on the lathe. So, you know, both of those. And then I have my website. And on the left is the index of the stuff there. But a lot of it is like right here, we can go to the scroll saw video tips. And I've got about the Delta P20, about the DeWalt, different fixing the knock, tearing it apart, cover some different saws, some other tips,
A good
patterns.
place for anybody that's having scroll saw trouble, the first place to check is Rick Hutcherson's site, because he's dealt with a lot of scroll saws and he owns a lot of scroll saws.
Yeah. But I go through and had a lot of videos on just scroll saw topics. Then I've got let's go back to the home page again. I've got free wood turning videos, and I show how to turn a few different projects. I don't know, there's about 50 different projects here that I show on turning on the wood turning. Then I can go down to my patterns, and down below here I've got the DVD and stuff that I sell on scroll saw basics, spinner projects, wood gear clocks that I've designed, old French patterns, some hummingbirds and birds and ducks, the bugs that I do, the wacky gears. And then if you go back up to the top and go to the books and individual patterns, I've got, I don't know, 160, 170 books of all different kinds of fretwork. Most of this is the old stuff. You can go over here and sort it by category, whatever you want.
And there may be a lot of people that do not know that Rick Hutcherson sells scroll saw patterns, because he doesn't put it out there like I do, like spamming. But he has books and books, like he said, 160 or more books, and he's got a whole mess of them. So if you're looking for challenging and some simple and full books or individual patterns, this man's got them. Trust me on this.
I've probably got about 2,300 patterns, I suppose.
Wow.
And then over here I go through and talk about blade choices and blade tension, you know, show picture tips of cutting type V's, some different shop tips on how I do my spray finishing on a turntable Lazy Susan, a little paint booth thing I made up for using the airbrush. This is a vacuum setup that a guy came up with for a scroll saw, airborne dust cleaners, you know, what I use and stuff. Tips on judging a scroll saw picnic, cutting my 3D deer, Gorel 9 computer tips. I get into some of the other woodworking stuff, like I went down and took the Judy Gale Roberts course, got pictures on that. With marquetry, I went up and took a course with Cindy Stewart up here, up in Wisconsin. I just got into a little bit of everything, and this is pretty much all my video stuff. pictures of a lot of the old scroll saw picnics that I went to, and then I guess my for sale pages. So I mean, I just got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, Rick Hutcherson has been in the community since I came in 1997, so I know he's been there before that. Thank you, Rick. Once again, his website is scrollsaws.com. Almost anything and everything you're looking for, including advice, beginner stuff, advanced stuff. It's just amazing what all his website has on it. Thank you very much for that, Rick. And we're going to go to our newcomer, Ricky Mystery out of Stittsville, Ontario, Canada. This guy is 15 years old, and you would not know it to look at his work. And we connected on Facebook today, and I was in awe, thinking, my God, this guy looks like he's been scrolling 10 plus years. But Ricky, feel free to show your Facebook page, your YouTube channel, your website, any of that.
Sure, yeah. So the camera isn't that good, so I'll just go to the screen share.
10-4.
That work? Yeah.
That's the pre-share acid trip. There we go.
Alright, so then I have my YouTube channel. It's a little small YouTube channel. I have a few videos up. I did an etching glass one. Then I have my Facebook page. I was an Intarger I did the other day. Just a little rose. The other pictures. Then you have my website link.
Yeah, so
We have
you
the
had
comment
one
section.
picture that really, you had one that really jumped out at me. It was I believe it was a peacock. It was a really intricate thing in a circle, a peacock
Oh, yeah.
cutting.
Let me find that. That's somewhere here.
That's a unique setup on your website too. Yeah, that right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
When I saw
This
that, I
is
said, no way a young kid did that.
It's a Steve Good pattern I found. I
Really?
think, yeah. And then I cut it out. But yeah. Got a comment section. Got a comment from Sheila Landry. Snowman. He has a
Yeah, I
YouTube
saw
channel.
that. That's cool. That was nice to see Sheila Landry. I hadn't even heard about you before today, and I like I said, I was in awe when I saw all your work.
So I got this. I had this here, but the camera's not that good. So this is a Sheila Landry pattern also.
Alrighty.
I have a video of that. Some more Steve Good patterns. Most of my work is Steve Good. I've done a few patterns by myself, like this Bruce Lee I made
Very good.
for one of my friends. And what else do I have?
The Steve Good is a very good place to go, especially if you're a beginner.
Yeah, I did that. I made a pattern of my dad
Well,
on the beach with his sunglasses on.
I was almost going to guess Jeff Gordon, but I guess you know what your dad looks like better than I do.
Sens fan, Ottawa Senators. So I got that. I had to make a Maple Leafs one also, but my friend never bought it off me. So, but yeah,
I like
that's
those
about
ornaments to the right of that. Would you mind looking at those ornaments to the right of that leaf? Yeah, those are very nice.
These ones? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thank
Do you use
I think
straight blades
Steve
on
Good
everything?
patterns.
Do you
Yeah, I
use
use straight blades.
Okay, so we haven't gotten you into spiral blades yet, huh?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about it.
It will come with time. Thank you very much, Ricky. Now, before you, the youngest I had ever seen in the scrolling community was Leldon Maxey when I first started. Leldon Maxey is M-A-X-C-Y is how you spell his last name. He was 17 when I started in 1997. That was the youngest one I had seen. So when I saw you were 15, I knew I had to get you on the show. And folks, I don't usually tout on one individual person, but I want y'all to, okay, he only has like 47 subscribers, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get all, yeah, I'm not trying to get mushy because of his age, I'm not special treatment, but he deserves more than 47 subscribers on his YouTube channel. And even his Facebook page, which is Ricky Scroll Saw. And please do not forget to put those in the comment section of the video once it's been posted, because He deserves more than 95 likes. He deserves more than 47 subscribers, I think. I subscribed today and I liked his page, I want to do that for everybody on the panel, obviously, but this guy just, hopefully you'll agree, deserves much more than he's been. You're welcome. I probably didn't have that full screen when I was doing. I wasn't screen sharing, but anyway, please remember in the comment section of once the video has been posted to put those links, because you deserve a lot more subscribers and likes. And
Charles.
Yes, sir.
We have a YouTube question real quick. I thought I'd pop in here real quick, and I think it's to Mark Stallings. It says, Mark, how do you like the saw from Harbor Freight, and what size is it? I guess he means if it's like a 16 or 18 or whatever.
Well, I had the Harbor Freight 16-inch. I made enough money to go out and buy me a better one. I bought a 18-inch, quarter cable, and it's as different as day and night in cutting now. But the best way I found to use the Harbor Freight saw, other than Rick Hutcherson saying it's a boat anchor, is to make sure you mount it solid down. You can only get to 3 of the bolts to mount it, bolt holes to mount it down, but mount it down to something very solid that is going to take away some of that vibration.
So I'm guessing you wouldn't recommend it unless you just don't have enough money to buy anything else.
Well, for someone who's not for sure whether scrolling's for them, you're not going to go that far wrong. And then I realized I fell in love with the craft, and that I was actually pretty good at it. Just about everything that I owned, that Harbor Freight saw.
Yeah, and when you don't know what you're missing,
you have to just be careful with it.
Sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to interrupt. But what a lot of people say.
When I got this.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark. I just.
Yeah, I really didn't know. Well, I really didn't know what I was doing. And so I got that Harbor Freight saw, learned to use that. Or to use saw, when you move to a better saw, you're like, oh, this is easy. It helped me learn the basics. I'd never used any of the pinless blades on it because the adapter was such a pain in the rear end to mess with. They got thrown in the toolbox, and everything was pin blades, which that limits you, of course, with using pin blades. But now my saw will take pin or pinless. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are okay about beginning with the Harbor Freight saw, but getting rid of it was probably the best thing I did, because I did upgrade to a better one. So.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah, a lot of people, if you're able, and this is sort of a cliche in the woodworking community, it's not what you have in the shop, it's what comes out of it, but if it's working for you, it works. Rick Hutcherson likes to affectionately refer to Harbor Freight scroll saws as anchors, but you really sometimes don't know how good of a saw you have until you've upgraded from it, or had, and then you realize, wow, I didn't realize it could get any better than what I had. But apparently you found that out. And Rick Hutcherson, we used to give Frank Tart heck about having a Harbor Freight scroll saw, and rest his soul. Moving on, Mr. Russell Clarity, are you ready, or do I need to get past you and come back?
No, I'm ready.
There you are. I'll present you everybody and just show all your stuff.
A lot of the stuff I was working on was around Valentine's Day. I just started to say Valentine's.
Aww.
These are all patterns that I made.
And he is selling his scroll saw patterns. He was probably going to get to that, but I like to help people.
And then I guess we'll screen share, and I'll take you to my website. I'm redoing my website. So, can you see it now, Charles? Hello.
Russell, all I see is your picture.
Yes, your website is up there, Russ.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What was that directed at me? I had to go do something real quick.
Yeah, I don't know if you had put me on where I was presenting to everybody.
Yes, you are.
Okay. This is my website. Like I said, I'm going through and redoing it completely and making a lot of changes. So I'm going to go over here. A lot of this stuff is not. My daughter brought over here a camera. She does photography, and we took a lot of new pictures of my stuff that turned out a lot better than what I had. But this custom portrait up here is of my grandson that I made when he was like 2 years old for my daughter. Welcome signs, some of the other stuff that I've done. These crosses that are here are all my patterns that I've created and made. Most of the stuff that I have, matter of fact, on this page is all my patterns. More crosses and stuff. Some word art. This clock down here on the right-hand side is kind of like I would call it like a birdhouse, but I've been scrolling, like I said, for over 30 years. I made this clock. My daughter is 36 years old, and I made this clock when she was probably about 4 or 5 years old. So it's over 30 years old. That's how long I've been doing it. It's about 6 to 8 inches in depth. I needed to take a side view. I just didn't have time because my daughter had to leave the day that she brought over the good camera. But it's got wooden shingles, like shake shingles on a regular house, and every one of those shingles were hand cut and placed and glued on top of that roof, just like you would do a regular house. Also is the siding and everything. There's a big hole in the back of it, big enough for you to run your hand in to get to the front to the clock to change the battery. But I have several items that I still have to this day that I made 30, 40 years ago.
Wow. Very nice stuff on there. And like he said, he's still working on his website. You'll see pricing and stuff as the days go by.
And then here's some of the patterns that I'm starting to put up for sale.
Very nice.
And then I have a YouTube channel, and I'm not going to go through all that. A YouTube channel and a Facebook channel. Both of them, YouTube and Facebook, is under Simply Wooden Creations also.
Good deal. And for those that don't know, it's not really well known in the scroll sawing community. And this is not to take credit away from anybody. Keith Fenton has done very well with his word within words, but Russ has also been doing that since 2009. That's not to say that Keith Fenton has stolen any light. That's not to imply that at all. Keith Fenton does very well. He's making a big name for himself doing that.
Yeah, this is one of my word on word. I put a little twist onto it. I've been doing it long enough that I was able to invent a new way of doing it.
I'm not able to see your picture. Yes, I am. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Even though Russ has been doing the words within words since 2009, not a lot of people knew that, but that is not to take anything away from Keith Fenton, because Keith Fenton is doing very well with it himself. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I decided to put a new twist to it so that I wouldn't be, or people wouldn't say, well, you're just copying somebody else. No, I'm not copying. I've been doing it longer, but this is my new twist to it.
Very nice. And I was talking to Russ yesterday, wanting to do different versions of word art, because every idea I come up with, somebody else has already cornered the market on it, and I'm trying not to step on people's toes, and it's breaking my heart. Did I stop presenting? Yes, I did. Okay. But yeah, Keith Fenton does very well with his word within words, and that he's at Sheila Landry Designs. Want to give credit where credit is due, but I do know that me and Russ talked many years ago in 2009. He had quite a few orders for words within words. But good on Keith Fenton for the success he's having with that option.
Part of the problem, and I'll just say this real quick, is my philosophy years ago when I started doing this was if I had the pattern and I created the pattern and was the only one that made it, nobody else could duplicate it. So therefore, I never thought twice about putting my patterns up for sale. Actually, I was kind of in a way I didn't think they were that great. So now I'm beginning to realize that I could kick myself in the butt for not selling patterns years ago. And but oh well, it's all still good.
Yeah, and I know I don't usually spotlight certain designers, but Sheila Landry and Keith Fenton both have very, very diverse, elegant, very, what's the word I'm looking for? They have a dang good variety of patterns, and Keith Fenton, his niche, in my opinion, lately has been the word art. He's also doing filigree crosses, I believe, as their latest newsletter said. So y'all definitely need to take a look at Sheila Landry Designs too, if you haven't already. They have a very, very large variety of designs out there, and thank you very much for Russ for that. But I'm loving your word within words thing too, because it really stands out when you have the open letters on the inside. Thank you very much. Moving on, if you don't mind, I'm going to go to Scott Sanders. Scott, I don't know that you have a website because I've slept since then, but do you have anything you want to show?
I don't have a website, but that spare car I had this morning, I was able to finish it up today.
Good deal. Very nice. Can you hold it up higher due to the thumbnails of the people? A little higher, just right there. He made that for a friend of his who is number 8. I believe it was his boss's son or something like that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Is that all you have to show us, sir?
Well, I did, what was it, 2 years ago, I did one of Steve Good's crosses. I ended up cutting 12 of these out.
Wow. Very nice. I would have guessed that was a Sume design.
Well, yeah, I got it off Steve Good.
And Gary Griffiths just joined us. Thank you very much for that, Scott. Gary, while we're in here, do you? Yeah, you obviously do scroll sawing. Do you have a website or a YouTube page or anything you want to show off to people? Because that's sort of what the topic is today.
I don't have any page or anything yet, but I got a photo bucket that's got some old stuff that I've done.
Alrighty, do you feel like showing any of that off?
Yeah, I can show it.
10-4. I'll just present you it if you don't mind doing the screen share thing. I can't get it to work because there we go. Okay, you're now presented to everybody. If you want to hit the screen share and show everybody. And by the way, Russ, I wanted to apologize if it looked like I was stealing your thunder. I just wanted to clear the error out there in case anybody thought that anything else was going on. I hope I didn't take away from what you were doing.
Alright, does it show up for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I made this. I believe it's a Steve Good pattern. My daughter does violin. I made that for her as a kind of a just a have type deal. I made that for a friend that we had, just for kind of fits and giggles. I made that for my stepdaughter's boyfriend. He lost his mom unexpectedly, and I made that for him. The pattern was by, I think it's TD Painter off Steve Good's forum. He made that pattern for me.
Good deal. I didn't know you were on that forum.
I made this. I forget where I've got the pattern for it. I think it was actually somebody here in town wanted them made, copied, and so I made an extra one to have on hand, and then I decided to make it and then paint it, put felt on it, and put letters on it for the first letters of my family's name, and handed those out as Christmas presents one year.
Very good idea.
It's another Steve Good pattern. I've made, I don't know, 3 or 4 of those. They're pretty good item. Everybody that I've made them for love them.
Wow.
I made that for my mother-in-law. She was actually a early stage breast cancer and was able to overcome it. And I made that. It was I can't pronounce his name. Retalol. He's off.
Retalol. Yeah.
Yeah. He makes a lot of patterns. He's got 2 Facebook groups he's on. That was one of his patterns that I made. My stepdaughter, she's in ballet. I made that one for her.
Very nice.
I made that for a friend. She had, I think, a stillborn, and she wanted a thing done. The heart with the wings and foot was something that she had. It was a plastic canvas pattern for cross stitching, and I turned it into a pattern myself and made that one for her.
All right.
This is for my work. This is my very first pattern that I attempted at making. I took their logo and turned it into a pattern and made it, and they loved it. They were in all over it.
Very good.
That was another, I think it's a Steve Good pattern too as well. That's just the cross without the stand underneath it. It's just the cross by itself. I made that for a friend. He likes lighthouses. I think I got that off Scroll Saw Village, I believe is where I got that pattern from.
Yeah, looks familiar, yeah.
This is for my wife's uncle. He's a retired firefighter, so I made that for him and glued the letters on underneath it.
Very good.
These were they were a kind of a giveaway type deal. They wanted some angels to kind of give away to those in need. Like somebody was in a hospital or something, they would take an angel and mail it to them as a get well type deal. There was, I think, 80 of them that I had to make. There was 40 of each, and it was one of those deals that I wish I hadn't have taken on, but kind of glad I did.
Yeah, there's kind of a happy medium on stuff like that.
Yeah, there were so many to cut. I wish I kind of hadn't done it.
And you feel good that you did it. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, this is a Steve Good pattern. It was for my stepdaughter's boyfriend's mother. She wanted some done, but I chose to use the live edge wood to kind of give it a rustic feel to it, and she sold them off in a raffle and sold every one of them.
Good deal.
This is a Steve Ramsey's miter saw sled that I had made to use miter cuts, and it actually works really well. If you hadn't seen it, you can go look him on YouTube and type in and search Steve Ramsey's miter sled and build one, and it actually makes good, clean, straight miter cuts.
Yep, perfect miters every time.
Mm-hmm. That's another one for my stepdaughter for her ballet. I think it's another Steve Good pattern. This cross, I made it for my wife. I got it out of a scroll saw pattern book from the library. I can't think of the author's name. It's something Spielman.
Patrick Spielman.
Yeah, he's got some great patterns, but some of them are pretty detailed.
Yeah.
These, I don't know why these are shown at small. I think it's a Steve Good pattern as well. It's a box. It's got little bitty tiny crosses in it. It was a push stick. I think it's a Steve Good pattern too as well. Another eagle. Little heart. It says, "My heart is empty without you," babes around the edge of it. I think it's another Retalol pattern that he made.
Was that a makeup fight pattern?
Yeah. No, it was just something I did just just because this I made, I think it was last year for Valentine's Day for I cut that out for her. It's another Steve Good pattern.
Very nice.
That I made up myself. This is something, another attempt at making patterns. It turned out pretty good. I think it's just basic old ordinary plywood. I think I used a scrolling blade on a jigsaw to cut it out.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. reference for
Yeah.
those that don't know.
Yeah. This I made is I think Steve Good pattern because my son is autistic. I made that for him.
Very nice.
That's the Pray for the Cure. That's what it's supposed to look like. I made this. I don't remember where I got this from. This is when I first started scrolling, when I had my Craftsman saw. The stars, I don't think I want to cut that many stars again. It was a challenge to get all the points in it. And starting out, it's not something I'd want to use as a beginner pattern.
Yeah, move to Texas and you only got one star you got to do. But
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
1 star. Yeah.
That was very nice.
I made this for my mother-in-law. She likes roosters, so I made that one for her.
Do you recall where you got that design?
That one, I think, is another Spielman pattern. It was in a book, I believe, that I had.
Okay.
These were also in the Patrick Spielman book. I made these a couple years ago. The cross I made for my mom. The fish I made for my dad. And the little rooster I made for my mother-in-law. And I just threw the lure on there just to give it a different look and feel, make like I could caught something. It's from my mother-in-law's wear. I think it's another Spielman pattern out of his book.
Good deal. Back at the beginning?
Yeah.
All right,
That's
appreciate
kind of pretty it. I made some couple other stuff, but I haven't had a chance to update my photo book yet. But it's kind of hit and miss on little stuff here and there. I'm working on still trying to finish these up. There's another Steve Good Navy veteran pattern. I think I'm on my last 2 of my order, and then I got some different ones I got to make, but it's all work in progress.
Good deal. But you had a lot to present. I appreciate that. I don't know who the Steve Good guy is. I'm kidding. Steve Good is anybody in scrolling knows who Steve Good is. But okay, we technically hit an hour, but I'm only going to do a quick run through of my website. We have 20 viewers, and I
Just
hope
before you do that, Charles, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Carl Becker on YouTube. He's on the Steve Good forum where we are the moderators.
Oh, Carl B. Yeah.
Yeah. He put, could you please, or could the links for the sites mentioned be posted in the information section above? In other words, in all your websites, any of the stuff that we're talking about tonight, he wants to make sure that we post it into our
description,
into the information section on our YouTube tonight for people to see.
Now, the description is usually written by me, but if y'all don't mind, we try to do this to every show, but we often forget. But all of y'all, since we went through websites and pages and all that, please make it a point once you see it with a thumbnail on it. That means it's live or it's on the channel. Please make sure you put all your information in a comment in there, and that way it'll always be there. And we had Chase come in, and Chase, are you related to Scroll Sawing in any way, shape, or form?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, it wouldn't let me log in as C in Woodwork.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've talked to me, I think, a couple times.
Yes, sir, I have.
But yeah, I've been doing scrolling for about 8 months now, and I do all kinds of different stuff. So I think everybody's showing kind of examples of their work. Let me see what I've got. I'm kind of sitting in the shop here.
10-4. What was your last name, Chase?
Noble is my last name.
Noble?
Yeah.
Of course, my pen won't work.
So I do a lot of lamp panels. So here's a lamp panel that I did, if you can see it.
If you can hold it up a little bit. Oh, with one of those sugar skulls or just a skull?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that's one I designed and did. And I've got let's see, a few other ones, just some stuff kind of like that, and I don't know, just whatever I can think of to design it. And so,
I would like to
so that's
see.
a lot of the stuff I do.
I would like to see examples of lamps that you put those in. That would be something neat to do. I just added you on Google Plus, by the way, because I want to connect with you because we haven't gotten a chance to talk very often.
Yeah, yeah. I've got this one here. It's it's actually glued up, but everything's dry. It's just been sitting here waiting. This one right here. So the top still needs to be flush trimmed. Let me scoot back a little bit.
That is gorgeous. Where did you find the idea to start doing these lamp deals like that?
I always kind of enjoyed the electronics. So I would do kind of electronic projects and everything, and I was like, it'd be really cool to combine the scroll saw with the electronics. And I don't have an example. I don't have a working example, unfortunately, in the shop, but I do the electronics for the lamp in it, and there's switches so it'll change colors or it'll just be white or whatever. So when I come up with a working example, we'll probably have another show, and maybe I can show you guys that.
Absolutely. Are you on Facebook, Chase?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and I have a YouTube channel. It's all under CN Woodwork.
10-4. If you can locate the Charles Deering on, it'll be a picture of me and my wife. If you can add me, I'd like to discuss some things with you behind the scenes, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. It's under the Charles Deering. We lost Ricky Mystery, by the way. Thank you, Chase. We lost Ricky Mystery. His connection cut out, but he's watching the live stream. Thank you for being on the show, Ricky, by the way. Rakesh. Now, since we've gone over an hour, I won't spend too long on mine. Okay, Ricky Mystery got back in. Good deal. But I'm going to screen share and show y'all some of my stuff. I won't go through everything because I know we went over an hour. This is my Facebook page. It's called Charles Deering Scroll Saw Portraits and More Made of Wood. This is probably my favorite cutting of all time of mine, is a lion. But I'm not going to go through every single photo because, that would be quite a bit. But the main thing I want to get to is my website because that was just recently launched, and I'm excited about that. But I'm just going to very quickly go into, let's say, pieces for sale. And I'm only going to show you thumbnails. I hope y'all can understand that. I just don't want to take up too much time since we've gone over an hour, even though we've gone up to 2.5 hours before. I just feel the need to keep it a little shorter. I really don't know what to say here because I'm just going to slowly scroll down because I feel if I point out each individual picture, it's going to take forever. This happens to be the basis for Metallica, if anybody's wondering. That's the lead singer to Metallica, James Hetfield. That was Rob Trujillo. That's a 1946 Hudson pickup. That's a horse that's about 3 feet tall. That's Metallica. I'm going to show that one. That one's about 5 feet wide. I used to have that hanging on the wall behind me. And there's more crap. But I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my website just because I'm excited about that. Now, it's pretty much bare bones except for the scroll saw patterns in the videos section because the shows we're in right now, Rick Hutcherson and his son Squire Hutcherson. I could not have done this site without them. Jason McGinn got me started, but Rick Hutcherson and his son helped me big time. Oh, this is the international version. But his son got me going, and Rick babysat me through the frustrating times when I couldn't get a hold of his son. But this shows every single episode. That way you don't have to fish all over YouTube looking. But you will see number 13 sitting down here as soon as I can get that uploaded. But the part I'm most excited about, and you will see similarities to Rick Hutcherson's. There's our little icon there. You'll see similarities to Rick Hutcherson's site because I love the layout of that, the simplicity of finding a pattern. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. The top search area is book types. And in most cases on these, you can click on what's in it, and it'll show you each pattern that's inside of there. The only ones that it doesn't do that on is the basket ones, because I have not made thumbnails yet of the individual basket patterns. But this is where all of my ebooks are, if anybody's interested in that. And you break it down to movie characters on book types, and that'll take you straight to the John Waynes. I'm going through this quickly, I know, but that's book types. And if we go to pattern types, we can say, let me pick just a random one. Let's say cross-religious. That's his pattern type. You're going to see a lot of religious and/or crosses, obviously. I'm scrolling fast. I apologize for that. And I know some people think the thumbnails are too small, but number one, we know that there's a lot of pattern thieves out there, and that's not to say every scroll sawyer is a pattern thief. But that's why I used the thumbnail generator to make all the thumbnails the same size, so I couldn't pick and choose, and I didn't want to have to because I wanted to make it go quickly. But that's quickly that. Let's say singer and musician, and this will show you all the musician ones that come up under singer musician. Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, Jimi Hendrix, some saxophone player, and some other people y'all will recognize. Okay, then that was for pattern types. And if you wanted to find a specific pattern, I tried to get as specific as I could with the keywords. This is available keyword search. And any dates you see shown will be showing a 67 vehicle. And if you hover your mouse over it, it'll tell you the pattern number for future reference. I'm going to work on a numbering system, or if not, putting them on the thumbnails themselves, but that'll take a while. Trying to look for just a random example. Let's look under, and they're all capitalized, by the way, so if you clicked on Dukes of Hazzard, the only one you're going to find is the General Lee, which is in the transportation type. Let's say we click on flag. Anything that has a flag in it will show. And where else? I know there were some other ones I wanted to show up, but let's look under ornate, because that'll cover quite a few. These are a bunch of masks I made. And the crosses. You've seen enough of the crosses. I don't know why some of them don't show up. Real quick one, we'll go with Sam Elliott. For Sam Elliott designs. Let's just jump down the line. We're going to go to, where should I go to? Okay, we even have a zombie on the thing. These are a bunch of zombies. Anyways, I hope that gives you an idea of how user-friendly the website was meant to be. And again, I cannot thank Rick Hutcherson and Squire Hutcherson enough for helping me do that, because I wanted it to be very user-friendly. Other than numbering, you can hover over once again to see the pattern number. But as far as being able to find things, I really hope that this left column will help everybody, because almost everything under the sun, if you're looking for something specific, that keyword should find it. And hopefully that helps everybody. And let me get back to the Hoosier What's It. I don't even know if I was presenting myself all that time, was I? Yes, I was. I'll be dang. Okay. Now we got two things in the Q&A section, and I hope everybody enjoyed that. And there again, thank you so much to Rick Hutcherson and his son, Squire Hutcherson. Very, very, very thankful for that. And it's funny, Paul Keene says Ricky's got 99 likes now as of 6:35 p.m. Pacific time. How cool is that? In Southern California. Thank you, Paul Keene, for that, and I'm glad, man, because he really deserves it. I'm not saying anybody else on this panel doesn't deserve it, but I hate to see somebody so young being so good at what they do. God knows by the time he's our age, he'll be blowing all of us out of the water. But it's good to see that, and I hope those same people went and subscribed to his YouTube channel. His username on there is Ricky Awesome, R-I-C-K-Y Awesome.
I just want to say, make sure that he gets on to the, after this video is through, or even right now, go on to YouTube and put your stuff into the comment section under this video so people can find you too.
Absolutely, yeah. The comment section should still be open even though the show hadn't technically ended yet.
And that goes for everybody on the panel too. That if you have a website, whatever, put the information underneath, because several people are asking for that information so they can find it.
Absolutely. Russ, would you mind posting a link to that in case anybody can't navigate to that from here, putting that in the chat section? That way everybody will know right where to go to put in their stuff in the comment section.
Sure.
And I encourage everybody on this panel, or even viewers, if you have a website, a YouTube channel, this and that, put your stuff in the comment section. Unfortunately, I can't do all that in the description section because I'll be there for 8 hours. But I usually post mine and Russ's in the description, but usually the description's about the video itself. But that's not to be arrogant, it's just I generally put my stuff in the description just because it's my channel. And that sounded arrogant, but I don't know how else to say it, but thank you, Russ. Paul Keene, thank you very much for that. I'm very proud of Ricky, and I just think he deserves the note that the recognition for his talent being so young. So that was for his Facebook page. Let's see how his what goes. Jeffrey Super says, another enjoyable show, Charlie. Thank you very much, Jeffrey, and it definitely couldn't have done it without the great panel we got tonight. Ricky Mystery, oh, that was back earlier when his internet connection got dropped. Okay, we have 18 viewers. I hate ending shows when we have so many viewers, but the way I usually try to do it at the end of the show, if anybody on the panel has a request for a future show, if any viewers have a request for a future show, or if you have a comment or a question for the panel, whether it be from the panel or one of the viewers, feel free to ask it. I mean, we don't have to stop right at an hour. Obviously, we haven't. But if you do want to say something, say your name as you unmute yourself so I'll know who to put the camera on.
And just real quick, I posted the link to this video on YouTube in the comment section, so everybody can follow that over and put their information into the comments.
Good deal. Okay, is there anybody on the panel? Another good show by Edgar Natras. Thank you very much, Ed. Glad to know you're watching, which I knew I could depend on you to do. Good friend of mine. 18 viewers. Again, is there anybody? Okay, Gary, if you don't mind muting yourself, I'm getting a slight echo. Sorry about that. Does anybody on the panel have a comment or a question for anybody else on the panel? Going once.
Yeah, I've got a question. Chaser.
Chase here, okay. Go ahead.
So I'm just trying to get into, I've been using straight blades for the majority of the time, and I have a bunch of, I buy kind of the multi-pack, so I have a bunch of these, the 360 blades, and I've tried to use them, and I know you use them a lot just from the videos that I've watched. And,
absolutely.
And I cannot get, maybe there's a trick to it, I can't get it to track correctly.
Well, okay, the best thing I can say about spiral blades, and that none of this is meant to insult anybody's intelligence. When you say track correctly, I guess you say it's sort of wanting to go with the grain.
Yeah, it wants to wander, definitely.
Okay, the key to this is, I'm being laughed at for saying with all due respect, because I don't want anybody to feel insulted, because everybody's been a beginner at some point. And Chase is not a beginner, he's just a beginner with spiral blades. Long story short, because I'm good at babbling, let the blade do the cutting, because it's going to want to try to follow certain things. But because when you're using a flat blade, and I've never used one, but common sense tells me with the teeth facing you, it'd be much easier to go quicker to follow that line. But with spiral blades, and then some people say, my God, you look like a machine when you're using your spiral, but it just comes with practice. I've been using only spirals since 1997, but long story short, you can choose the speed of your saw if it's a variable speed, and let the blade do the cutting. Don't push it in any further. Just let your comfort level dictate how quick you go. And that spiral blade, no matter how big or small it is, it cannot cut anything you don't push into it. In other words, if you sit still, it's not going to go anywhere. If you go a little too fast, it may wiggle a little bit, but the benefit to I've been putting the camera on you the whole time while I'm babbling. Of course, you're probably better to look at than I am. Anyway, what was I saying? Every time I change my wording, I go get befuddled. I lost it.
Let the blade do the cutting.
Yeah, let the oh Lord, glad one of us was listening. Okay, yeah, just long story short, people reach their comfort level when it comes to saw speed and just the feed rate. Really, all it is just getting used to that, and especially when you're used to flat blades, you're used to having to turn the piece, and that can actually inevitably, subconsciously play into it. You might find yourself trying to turn the piece at the same time.
Yeah,
that takes
I've
getting
done
used
that.
to.
Yeah.
So that I can understand that. So if I ever try to, many people have asked me to make it. I will call it a blooper reel, but many people have asked me to try to make a video of me using a flat blade, and you'll probably catch me trying to move it around like this, and that'll look pretty tore up. But
yeah,
there's definitely a learning curve on using a spiral blade. They do not cut at all like a flat blade. And like Charles said, they're going to want to. It's kind of like water. It follows the path of least resistance. Well, that blade does the same thing in the wood. Wherever the softer wood is at, it's going to want to try to follow it. So you've got to control it. But I don't know what your personally, I only use spirals for cutting portrait patterns because I like the flat blade cut better on other stuff like word art and some of the stuff that's behind me that I do. This is all done with flat blades, but portraits, yeah, hands down, I'll go to a spiral because you're not trying to follow a straight line in a portrait. You're trying to follow the different areas, curves, niches. I mean, so they're great for portraits.
Absolutely, and there's no doubt in my mind that it's gonna be a laughable thing when I use flat blades, but I neglected to show off my background because Dan Ingebretson in the Q&A section talked about with all the patterns out there, he wonders why there's so few trains. Number one, there's hard to find good pictures of trains, but I found one, and that's how I did this one, which is for sale on the website. Yay! The only two on here that are not for sale for copyright reasons are these two. That one's 2 feet tall. This one is 2 feet tall by 4 feet wide. That's the benefit to on a spiral blade. You can cut very large because you're not limited as much by the throat of the scroll saw because some of the cutting can be from side. You can cut it at an angle because you're not having to feed in one direction to compensate for the teeth on the scroll saw. But I agree, there's not a lot of train designs out there. That being said, I believe we covered it. Thank you for the question or comment. I don't remember which one it was because I've moved on since then. Chase, I appreciate that. And definitely want to get with you on Facebook and talk about these lamp things because that looks like a very fun thing to get into. But does anybody on the panel have any more questions or comments or suggestions for future shows along with our 18 viewers? If you do not know how to use the Q&A section on your screen, not mine, right up around here you will see what looks like the side of a Rubik's Cube. It's a square with a bunch of little squares. Click on that and that's how you put things in the Q&A section. But we have gone over an hour, but we're known for that and stuff happens. Coming up on an hour and a half, but does anybody have anything that they want to comment about their own stuff? Or now, okay, I'm going to say this. Me and Russ have talked about this. We don't want, not that there's a danger of this show dying out, but in scroll sawing in general, there's only so much you can talk about. If this was a woodworking in general show, we'd have many, many tools and many, many things we could go into. But with scroll sawing, it's relatively limited. So we've done tutorials. We can obviously do more of those. But the viewers are what make this show, obviously, with the panel. And I can't thank these guys enough for being here every week. Some of them are new, some of them are old. Take that how you want to. Some of them are old and been around a while. But anyway, there you go, Mark. But this show is for y'all, and it's by all of us. I mean, And I also want people to know that this panel is not a pre-selected panel. They just are quick reactors when we throw up the links. So anybody that watches this show that ever wants to be on the panel, just be the first to click the link to get in. That's really, it's a first come first served thing. So I hope nobody feels like you have to be in an elite circle to be in there, because no matter how long I've been scrolling or how shortly, I believe the one who's been scrolling the least amount of time was Chase. I'm no better than Chase is when it comes to the quality of being on the show. And I know Rick outdoes all of us on how long he's been doing it. So none of us outrank anybody. We all just are here to share our information, our questions, our suggestions. So anybody, we are all equals here. This is only called Scrolling with Charlie, but it's not all about Charlie or Russ, the co-host. It's about all of us. So anybody ever wants to do a tutorial or anything, and the viewers, your feedback is encouraged, because without y'all, we don't have a show except for a bunch of guys talking on the screen. But we encourage your show ideas. Somebody mentioned last week about different woods, and that's something we need to get into. But if that being said, if nobody else has any more comments or questions, we will go ahead and close the show. 5 minutes short of an hour and a half. What can you do? But thank you, Chase Noble, Gary Griffiths, John Cousins, Mark Sherman, Mark Stallings, Rick Hutcherson, Ricky Mystery. I almost stuttered on that. Russ Clarity, Scott Sanders, and for me, Charles Deering. Folks, please don't scroll naked, but whatever you do, for the love of God, scroll on.